The final composite for the music video.
One kiss before she leaves, while I'm still half asleep.
All right, you get the idea. So let's show you how I made it. Thank you, Stephen. I did most of my compositing within Motion, and I've already got the clip loaded up. Here he is. I've got the green screen behind him. So the first thing you have to do is key out the green. So within my filters, I have a keyer. Just type it in. There's the keyer. All you do is drag and drop it right onto the movie, like so. As you can see, it's already starting to get rid of the green. However, I have some hot spots due to not keying the screen evenly, and that was due to time and lack of help. But regardless, we can fix that. So within the inspector, I have some parameters such as spill, suppress, and matte. As you can tell, Stephen has a little bit of green on the side of his face right here, and that's because he's actually a Martian. No, he's not. It's just because he was too close to the green screen, and that was because, gosh, I'm making a lot of excuses today, aren't I? It was in the living room of his house. We couldn't back him up far enough to get the camera in place, etc., etc. So you can always add a little bit of magenta to the side of his face, and that kind of looks a little bit better. Obviously, you go too much, he's turning purple. So right around there. And also the hot spots you can get rid of by shrinking your matte. Like that. And then he's looking better. Again, I'm not going to make this perfect, ladies and gentlemen, because I have only so much time. So, at the edge of the video, you can see I panned the camera and came to the corner of the green screen, and that's the wall in the living room behind him. How do you get rid of that, you might ask? Well, you add a mask. And I'm going to add a Bezier mask by clicking, 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 and clicking. Now we've got the mask set up. It masked everything outside of the box. So what do? You invert it. Bam! There we go. Steve is looking pretty happy because he's now been keyed out. So what I did next was export this out as his own movie, because when I was doing animation with the keyer working, it caused artifacts. My little computer couldn't handle it all. So I went ahead and did that. Save us some time. Like this. So let's go ahead and mute out these tracks. Layers. Sorry, I'm a composer, so I call things tracks, but I'll be good. These are layers, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Now we've got, this is the movie exported and re-brought back in. Good note to make is when you export out a composition and you want to preserve your transparency, you need to export it out as a 4444 chroma subsampling to keep that transparent layer intact, and now you can add to it. All right, so the first thing is to add the paper, because Stephen, I wanted to make it look like he was a drawing in a piece of paper, or the drawings were going around him and he was in the piece of paper, rather. So I found within my library a cool little piece of spiral paper in my content. Let's go ahead and type that in, paper. And there it is, spiral paper. Drag that on in. As you can tell, it's not the right size, so that's easy to fix within your properties. You just need to scale it on up. There you go. Now, as you notice, Steve has disappeared behind it, and what I wanted was Steve to be kind of in the paper, so you change your blend mode to multiply. And what this is going to do is going to bring my lines, my darker stuff, in front, and my lighter things behind him. So as you can tell, look, he's in the paper. Holy mackerel. All right, there we go. Let's start. Remember to label your layers, otherwise you will get lost very fast. And so far we're looking pretty good. We don't need that anymore. Okay, I added hearts and Z's shooting out from the side to kind of talk about how he's singing. He's talking about love, one kiss before he leaves. I thought a heart was appropriate. And how he's not getting much sleep because Kelly and the kids just won't leave this poor man alone. It's tough being a family man, I guess. Okay, so we need to add another layer. We're going to call this one heart. Like that. Heart. Drag it to the bottom. Let's get out my pen tool and let's draw a heart. Wow. Look at that. Picasso in a bag. In a bag? In a session. That is a black heart, and hearts aren't black unless you're the Grinch, so you need to make it red, like that. Okay, we have a red heart, except it's just sitting there, nice and boring. So let's add a particle emitter. Particle emitter. Now I found one called Feather, which I liked. It was close to what I was looking for anyway. Less work is better. Dragged it on in, and here's the group. We're going to call it Heart now. And then let's keep labeling. We don't need their feather clip. We're going to replace with my heart clip so we can delete it. And here is the cell called Heart. And then let's keep going with Heart here. Just keep everything nice and organized. All right, and drag it to the bottom. Boop. Okay, we can go ahead and drag this heart, which is that little clip I made, into it. And then we need to tell the emitter to look at this heart as what to emit. So within the inspector and within this, you get a bunch of parameters. Wow, look at all that fun stuff to geek on. We're not gonna do that today. We're just gonna show you the basics. So go to the cell that's being telling the emitter what to emit, and let's go ahead and reference this basic solid, which is the heart. And look, we got pretty hearts. Wow, so they're coming from the wrong place. We need to get it coming down in, oh, also, here's my little guide box. So I want to tell this thing where to be emitting from, which is the bottom left-hand corner. I think we're already set up. Boom. Here's the trajectory. I want the range to be a little bit larger, spread out more, like that. There you go. All right. And then the life, well, let's not look at this for that. Let's look at the larger parameter here. All right. The birth rate is how many of these things are going to be coming out every frame. And I don't need that many. Obviously, as it is, it just shoots one
kiss before she
disappears. So let's add my birth rate to about 8. And the initial number doesn't need to be 30. Let's make that also 8. And let's decrease the life of these hearts. Looking good. All right. We don't need him on. Goodbye. And we're also going to affect the gravity. I want them to fall a little bit faster. So let's put this up to about 900. There we go. And those hearts seem to be getting quite large as they are scaling. So let's get off of this scale over life parameter. Random motion's fine. Whoa, now they're too big. So in order to do that, let's change the reference of what those hearts were. And let's scale those down. Okay. I think we're looking savvy.
One kiss before she leaves.
Alright, it's not perfect, but it'll do. The next layer, layer we need to add is the Z's. So let's go ahead and add that. Here. Call it Z's. And let's draw. Okay. Wow, I need to get a pen. This is just pathetic. Okay, so we'll go ahead and duplicate this so we don't have to do much more work as far as dragging over from the other side and within the library. And then open this up. Open this up. Okay, so this is going to be the Z emitter. So let's relabel it. And we don't need this in here because we're not going to reference that. Z. Okay, and then Z. Let's go ahead and drag it into this layer to keep it organized. And then within the cell, we need to reference the Z's. There you go. Now the Z's are coming up from the left. They need to be coming up from the right. So let's go to the emitter. Let's back this thing out so I can see what I'm doing. Drag it over here. Here's my little info panel. Let's change the angle to emit this direction. Okay, so like the range and everything else. Actually, let's bring this down. It's going way too much under the heart side. You guys need to keep on your side. Stop interacting. Sleep and love don't work together. Okay, looking good. And you can disappear. There you go. All right, now in the song, he talks about sleeping later into the lyrics. So in order to do that, all you got to do is go down to your timeline, get everything where it's supposed to be, like that. And then here's my particle emitter layer. Let's have it start right about here. I think that's where he starts talking about sleeping. All right.
One kiss before she leaves, while I'm still half asleep.
Well, it was a little late. We're on there.
Still half asleep.
All right, there you go. So let's go ahead and fit it out. We can do a quick render, see what we're looking like. Well, somewhat quick. So I'm just going to play a little bit here just to see how the hearts are looking. So stop. Now this is in real time.
One kiss before she leaves. While
All right, that's the basics. This is obviously very, very simple compositing. Next music video I do will be so advanced that Weta and Peter Jackson will be knocking on my door asking me, how did I do that? Yeah, probably not.